subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Hold on, but we do have Bushmeat Barrister in here. Let's get Bushmeat Barrister. We haven't heard from Barrister in a few days. We got Bushmeat Barrister in the building. What's on your mind, Bushmeat?
Yeah, not much. But I just want to address Tariq. I do agree with you had a previous person who spoke previously, Nathan. Just wondering, and he brought up some good points about the crime rates that is plaguing Africans, Black American society. Why don't you talk about that as much?
Because we do stuff about it. We don't just sit up here talking about it. We actually do things about it. We go out in the community. We create job opportunities. We create education programs. We create documentary films. We create museums where people can go to as safe spaces like we have in South Central LA. That's a neutral place where blood trips and everybody else can come in with no drama. So we actually do something about it. We're not just going to run our mouths. We're going to get out here and handle that candle and make sure people are good, brother. That's what we do. Go ahead.
Oh no, I don't agree with you because you're always pointing out, the crime rates on his homeland. I'm not sure where he is from. Um, as of 2022, four of the major cities with the highest homicide rates per capita are cities in the United States of America, and these cities are the majority of the population are foundational Black Americans. So he
Name,
does have a strong point
name,
that.
name 'em. Name this.
It's St. Louis, Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore, Maryland,
A lot of tethers.
Memphis, Tennessee,
FBAs.
and New Orleans, Louisiana. These four cities are in the top 50 at the cities with the highest crime rates, and
Mhm.
they're the vast majority of the people who live in these cities are foundational Black Americans. So you cannot go ahead and just constantly deflect
I can't,
and not address what the. It seems like Black people in America, they hate each other. They
sir.
they're constantly killing each other.
New Orleans. I'm going to New Orleans next month. That's one of my favorite cities in this whole country. Dude, we go down there and get nothing but love down there. Yeah, you're going to have a sector of criminality, but that's not normalized. Everybody
It
doesn't embrace that. New
it is
Orleans,
very speaking of New Orleans.
sir, people flock to New Orleans. It ain't that damn bad. People are flocking to New Orleans, having a great time out there. We have certain festivals out there that are Black themed, like the Essence Festival and others. New Orleans is a beautiful city. It ain't perfect, but it ain't like niggas in shanty towns in your homeland. So
At
long,
least
long as
black
it's not that, we're good. New Orleans is a phenomenal city.
black
So,
people in Nigeria are not killing each other.
uh,
That's a fact, according to the
dude,
2022
dude,
crime homicide rates. Black people in Africa are not killing each other.
did
It's basically Black people in America are killing each other.
you say people in Nigeria and your homeland are not killing each other,
Well,
dude?
obviously, people kill people all over the place, but per capita, Black people in America kill other Black people more compared to other Black people in Africa. So there's I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if there's self hatred. There's a huge there's a huge problem plaguing Black America in regards to crime, violence and just homicides. Just so many Black people in America kill each other, and I just don't understand why you don't address and talk about that issue. Like I
Dude,
know people talk about Chicago. It's not just Chicago. It's just pretty
oh,
much any major city in Black America in that has a
dude,
large Black population in America. The
dude,
homicide rates are really high.
dude. Y'all in Nigeria, if people got nice homes, they got to put barbed wire all around their
They are
crib.
not killing each other though.
Dude,
At least they don't kill each other.
some FBA women who got killed over there not too long ago. What you talking about? It is. Hold on, love I am. Wait, let me get Brother McCall first. Let me get Brother McCall because I knew Brother McCall was gonna hop up here. Yeah, Brother McCall. He said ain't no killing going on in Nigeria, Brother McCall. Go ahead. Brother McCall, unmute.
He has a janky iPhone.
Oh, okay. Great Minister of Code, how art thou?
I'm so good, brother. How are you?
Excellent. Once again, living the dream and winning and listening to the hunter-gatherers. Mr. Barrister.
Yeah.
Mr. Barrister,
What do you want, Mike? What do you want to say?
how many child soldiers are killed over the course, or have been killed over the course of the last 20 years? Children, African wars.
I'm not sure.
Well, let me enlighten you. Millions. Let that process. How many conflicts have occurred over the last 20 years between African, we're talking about all 54 nations, sir, over the last 2 decades? Hmm?
What does that have to do with the violence that is occurring among Black Americans in this country? This is why Black
I
people
asked
have
you
a
a
bad
question.
reputation.
I asked you a
I'm not
question.
sure. I'm not sure.
So you're
I'm not sure.
so you're talking with your mouth open and your mind closed. 15,500 conflict-related deaths, sir.
That has to do with war and tribalism, but
That's
not necessarily.
Uh-huh.
murder. What you is
Uh,
murder is murder, dude. You talking about why? Like that makes it better. Murder is murder. In fact, Nigeria has the highest murder rate in Africa. So what you talking about?
mm-hmm.
Not
So,
globally.
sir,
Globally per capita,
Oh,
those four cities that I mentioned have a
sir,
higher murder rate overall.
excuse me, sir. Excuse
So
me, sir.
it's
Excuse me, sir. How many African awards occur annually, and how many people are murdered?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I bet you don't. Tens of thousands, sir. Does that sound like a problem to you?
Well, I don't live there, so it's
Okay.
not. I'm not concerned about the issues that are occurring in the continent in Africa. I do live in America, and
Mhm.
unfortunately, when I go out, people think I'm actually African American, but I'm not African American at all, and they tend to, put me in that group because Black people in America they have such a bad reputation
Mhm.
because
Okay,
and it's
so okay,
because
yes,
go ahead.
continue, sir. No, I
No,
don't
no,
want
I'm
to cut you
done.
off.
Well, no,
Okay,
no, go ahead.
okay. I just want you to think about what I said next time you want to express condescension amongst our great, powerful, beautiful, ever-evolving people. Thank you, Brother Tariq, for the opportunity to speak. I'll end.
brother, I appreciate
Okay, I don't like it when he speaks, but in any case, I just want you to talk more about the issues that are plaguing Black America, especially the crime rates. It's terrible. Um, Black people just kill each other all the time in this country, and it's really putting a bad light upon like me because I want Black people in America to succeed. Because even though I'm not Black American, a lot of people think I'm Black American, but
that. I don't believe that. I believe
well, basically once they see that I speak proper or articulate, then they kind of figure that I'm pretty much not Black American. But in general,
well,
overall, initially when they see me, they think I'm Black American. I'm foundational Black
I,
American.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Love I am. Hop on in here, dear.
So once they see that I'm not ugly, they don't think I'm African, okay? So it's not about how they perceive you, it's actually how they perceive us. And we're not getting accused of being African. But I wanted to point out, please just allow me to lay out this framework. And I promise I'll stay off your stage a little bit. I just want to say this. So I call this, and this is a term that I've coined, this is the third world rebrand, okay? And the third world rebrand has a codependent thought process with the white supremacist dominant narrative. So while white supremacy requires you to evade 350 years of a one directional onslaught of terror against the Black Americans here in America done by their people, these people rely on so they have to weaponize statistics against Black Americans. That's how they're able to do that. They evade 350 years of an incremental genocide, which genocide has a definition per the UN.gov website, and we know who has been doing genocide in America, and it's not us.
That's
Now
you're
they have to use
delusional.
crime. I have to be able to speak alone because I'm able to do that. I don't my point is not going to be reliant on anything you have to say. So let me lay out a framework for my people. I'm speaking to the edification of my people.
You're
I don't
delusional.
even I
Eric,
don't
yes.
incorporate. I don't this is I'm not going to I don't even have to come up here to name call. It's low vibrational. With that being said, the white supremacist narrative to paint us as the most violent in America, they have to evade 350 plus years of harm done to our collective. When the melanated immigrants, all immigrants, when they get here, they have to evade the realities of their home country. Nigeria leads globally in everything negative, if you really want to be honest. And I can lay that out, but
Not murders.
I'm not gonna take up too much. Bro, you have the most homicides on the continent. But
Nope.
I'm not gonna get into that because I have a
Not
standalone
globally
point.
though.
I have a standalone point that I can make. We don't care about you. What I'm pointing out is that these third worlders, they're coming over and they're trying to rebrand themselves by what? You trying to weaponize statistics against Black Americans. Now he says, I want you to talk about the harm, the violence in Black America. But they don't want to examine 350, the past 350 years. They want to start right where it's convenient. And that's the same thing with the white supremacists. So now you have two groups who have these codependent thought process. His point relies on those stats. Their point relies on that stats. All scapegoating Black Americans and creating a different image of us than what we even know. So I take offense to the fact that these Africans come up to these stages and try to characterize us. I'm a millennial. I'm 30. And some of the stuff that they're saying, I don't even relate to because you're trying to frame us in some new light. And the thing about it is, we're so proactive that not only do we constantly examine our culture, the issues that plague our community, but we are a solution oriented people as well. So we come up with solutions. And what I notice is that they will even, some of the intellectual property that Black Americans have come up with to address systemic issues, societal issues, colorism, that's a Black American intellectual property. These people will even use our intellectual property and then turn around and tell us we don't examine and we don't talk about issues in our community enough. No,
She's just rambling right now.
you're just not comfortable with where we start the conversation. Even if I was just
She's
rambling,
babbling.
I'm rambling to my own people. We don't care about you. You're not us, and you're not going to be able to. You don't inform anyone's perspective here. So I'm speaking to the edification of my people. So even if there was however many people in here, I know that someone from my ethnic group is benefiting. And so you don't get to say I'm rambling. You're a Nigerian. I don't give a what Nigerians are doing on
You're
any
so
day
emotional, and this is
until they
probably one
start.
of the biggest reasons why the Black
I
community
have
is
no
failing.
emotions. I
So
have no
many
emotions appended.
you let your
There's no
women lead.
emotions appended.
Women are very
So
emotional. Women,
I can
very
lay out
matriarchal culture.
I noticed that when I can lay out a very objective argument, no emotions appended, I have none. This is my intellectual property that I'm presenting to the space. I'm literally saying that the white supremacist is scapegoating and they're referencing stats. The African immigrant is the immigrants in general, they have to disassociate from the realities of their home country. They're rebranding themselves in real time, and they're scapegoating Black Americans in the process. That is my intellectual property. So for it to be devalued as emotionalism when I literally have none, I don't care. If I had emotions, then I would consider that you were Nigerian and care what you were talking about, and I don't. So miss me with the bullshit. I'm literally just laying out a framework for my people to work with. And I just want to point out that both of these thought processes are codependent on one another, and they absolutely require for them to control the narrative about us. So I appreciate FBA because I appreciate Tariq applying that level of specificity to the discussion because it's well needed, because we can't afford to have these people try, especially people who offer nothing and who have literally benefited from us like parasites.
Yeah.
They can't keep doing this like this, and it's actually xenophobic because what they're trying to do is replace our track record. We have a track record of helping other people. We have a track record of having good intention towards others. They're literally trying to replace that with what they think of us, but what they think of us is
Oh
literally
boy.
some BS.
Indeed. All right. Thank you so much, beloved. Go ahead, Barrister. Go ahead.
Um, but the thing about it is that black people were not killing each other back in the '60s. Well, prior to the civil rights movement. So I just want to know what happened. Why?
Uh,
How come black people became so violent
Tap-
in this
Interesting.
country?
Um,
Great. What's going on, Tariq?
go ahead, brother.
Oh
So,
boy.
um, how you doing tonight, Bear? So hopefully you're doing okay.
Uh huh.
So you from Nigeria, right?
I'm from I'm from here in America, but my parents are from Nigeria.
That's what's up. Was your parents here in the 60s?
Yeah,
Okay. So are you familiar with J. Edgar Hoover?
yeah. He was the FBI director.
Gotcha, gotcha. You understand what his plan was for the black community, right?
Absolutely, and yes, I was fully aware of COINTELPRO. Yeah.
Gotcha. So why ask that question? What happened?
What happened? Well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
There
I
we
guess
go.
that was yeah.
Anyway, so
Right.
let's talk
Mm,
about Nigeria for a
okay.
second. Are you
Uh huh.
familiar with this group called SARS that was running around Nigeria?
SARS is that a disease or something? I'm not
No,
sure.
no, it was a group.
Oh no, I'm not familiar with the SARS.
It's
No,
supposed to be like a law and order group. They run
no,
around murdering people,
n-
extorting
no,
people with the backing of the government.
no.
Remember that whole end SARS movement?
I'm not familiar with that movement.
I figured you wasn't. So I think when you talk about the cities you named in America, are they traditionally rich cities?
Um,
No,
Basically,
they're not.
all of those cities experience white flight, pretty
Wait,
much.
all of them do what now?
White flight. Basically, the vast majority in the city is the urbanized areas are pretty much populated with foundational Black Americans, and the white folks live in the suburbs pretty much in all of those cities. So the suburbs
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
nice. Yeah,
So no, so basically highways just ran through those cities.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you had the drug trade flooded those cities. You had a lot of
Hmm.
stuff happen to them. Um, so poverty and crime tend to match up on the stat sheet, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. So when you take a look at poor countries like Nigeria, the poverty and crime tend to match up there too as well, right?
Yes, but they don't kill each other though.
They don't keep stats as well as we keep stats.
I don't
They
know. I
also
guess
don't know
that's
their
debatable.
birthdays. A lot of people born in January, right?
Well, that's debatable, but I mean,
When's
why?
your parents' birthday? Their birthday is January.
Oh, they have their birth certificates. Yeah. So,
Which you know the
well,
vast majority of people that coming from there tend to have a January birthday, right?
nah. My mom's birthday is in
Well, I'm not talking about your mom's
March.
family, but you know most people tend to have a January
No, I did.
birthday.
I did not know that at all. I did not know that.
Seriously? Wow, you don't
No,
know too
not
much
at all.
about your homeland, bro.
Yes, I told you I was born here. So,
Yeah, I got you, got you, got you, got
uh-huh.
you. So I just think it's interesting that you come over here and you say, "Oh, we should work on what we got going on." And the only reason why they will mistake you for a foundational Black American is they think you like, I remember the alphabet community because you don't sound manly at all. Our
No, I am
community,
pretty manly. I just talk.
uh,
I don't. I am pretty manly. I
yeah, yeah,
discuss
I was
that.
with you, 100%. Anyway, our community
Uh-huh.
is not. matriarchal. It's just the women that you talk
No,
to.
actually, it is very matriarchal, though. A lot of.
Listen for a second. Listen for a
Okay,
second.
okay, okay. I'll listen.
Listen for a second.
Okay.
Listen. It's not matriarchal at all. It's just the women from our community don't respect the femininity in your voice. So, for me, for example, right?
Hmm.
If something's happening in my family, I'm tend to like one of like the 17 males in my family. They tend to call, right? Because they, hey, cuz, what do you think about this? Hey, bro, what you see? They lean on us because we're masculine. You are not a masculine male, so they're not gonna treat you with the same level of respect. And there's nothing wrong with that, bro. It's just you gotta
No, I think in general, black women just don't respect black men in general, and
I
that's a
don't think that's
fact.
true.
That
I
is a
I've
fact.
never had that
There's a
problem.
reason why the late Kevin Samuels rose to popularity and gained millions of followers
Okay,
within
okay.
months.
You
It's
know what? You
because
know
he
what?
was
You know what? Let's
preaching.
talk about this for a second, right?
Okay,
Let's talk about this for a second. When y'all bring, and I hate that this is a subject change, but when y'all talk about these, you do realize their whole market was a bunch of lame niggas that couldn't get laid.
the late Kevin Samuels was not a
His
lame.
whole market was a bunch of lame niggas that couldn't get laid.
He was
That
not
was
a
the
lame,
whole point.
and he was found, and he was FBA too. So come
Oh,
on,
I
man.
didn't say he was lame. I said, look, you do realize that you can get paid for giving game to lame niggas. That's what his whole market was. No disrespect to him, but that's what his market was. A bunch of people who couldn't get women, listen to the show, frustrated to hear him quote unquote put women in their place. That's all it was. The same shit with Fresh and Fit. They hold a TV, they hold a show, or they get a bunch of drunk bras who come to Miami. They think they're gonna be on a dating podcast and they ambush him with a bunch of random stats.
Then why are the
It's a
marriage
very
rates so low
lowbrow
in
thing to do.
America?
It doesn't.
Why are the
Anybody
marriage
who actually understands women
why
can
are the
get women.
marriage rates so low in the black community?
The
It's
marriage rates
because
are
your
low
women.
everywhere.
No, in specifically 68% of black American women are single. It's because they do not respect black men. Why is that?
First off, relationships are down everywhere. And the reason why they're down everywhere is because that's the way they want it to be. They literally manipulate the markets. You know that as well as I do, Barrister. You just said you understand what J. Edgar Hoover did. They literally targeted the community. See, on a further breakdown, what J. Edgar Hoover determined was people like Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson to a lesser extent were funded by black families from the black church and religious organizations. And they said, you know what? If we get rid of this, we can get rid of them, which is why they targeted them so heavy. And then, they flooded the community with heroin, cocaine, all that type of shit. Like, it's the same play that they've been doing. You know that, but you want
Yeah,
to
no,
pretend it's
obviously, there's no doubt about it. That
so
happened.
when you
But
say this
why?
shit, it's literally this false virtue signaling, and it makes it even worse because you know better. And it's like it'd be one thing it was having an honest conversation, and you was like, "Oh, I don't understand why," but you know the answers to these questions before you even ask them. So
Those
it's
are
very disingenuous.
how about taking some accountability though?
No, 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 I never denied accountability. I'm just telling you, it's like they will say crabs in the barrel, but a barrel is not a crab's natural habitat. So there's a level of panic that
And
tends to happen there.
also there's the other thing though. Why don't you go ahead and praise people like Ben Carson and lawyers? Instead you praise rappers, entertainers,
Who have you
and
seen me
you're
praise as a
criminals.
rapper?
Oh, everything about black culture is about
Wait,
the
wait, wait, wait. No,
entertainment
look,
industry.
listen again. Here we go. You have a misunderstanding of black culture because you're not from it, and I understand there's a miseducation going on. See, when you take a look at Al Capone, you take a look at Bugsy Siegel. Those are gangsters from the 1920s and 30s, or the early part. They are a small subset of outlaw culture. There is a large part of American culture that actually likes the renegades. Now, we do the same thing everybody else do. The only difference is our rebellious figures tend to be a lot more popular because anything we do tends to be a lot more popular. That's just how it is. Now I
Kanye,
understand that
Kanye,
you
I
you
was
you you personally may not understand this because
Kanye.
you're not
I
from the
do
culture,
understand. I went
but
ahead and
if you take a look at people like Ice Cube or whatever, right? You might say, "Oh, he's a rapper." People praise the entrepreneurial spirit in Ice Cube more than they do the rapper in Ice Cube, and that just shows you how influential we are. Ice Cube was running around in 1987 with influence. He's running around in 2025 with influence. You see, that's
yeah.
almost 40 years of evolution throughout his life that he's influenced the culture in positive ways. It's not even like we're not even glorifying. You take rappers like Jay-Z. People talk about him all the time, but he's a humanitarian.
Okay, Kanye.
We are
Okay, then
talented people,
explain.
dog. We
Okay,
do
just
more than one
explain this
thing.
to me. Can you just explain this to me again? During my clinicals when I was in college, I wanted to be an secondary education teacher though. I went to I think an eighth grade classroom. It was all black. Pretty much every single one of those black boys, they said they wanted to be a professional athlete or rapper. Then I went to a suburban school, all white kids, pretty much. They wanted to be a doctor. They wanted to run their dad's business. They had other dreams, other aspirations. Why is that?
All right, cool. I
There is a
understand.
huge problem with the
I got
culture
you. I
in the
got you.
black community.
I got you. I got you. I got you. A, it's not a huge problem. There's nothing
Yes, it
wrong with
is.
being,
Yes, it is. You
sir.
don't, they don't.
There's nothing wrong with being an athlete. That's the first thing, right? We all have hopes and
Yeah,
dreams.
there's nothing wrong
Uh,
with being that, but it seems like
you said
that's the only thing that's.
you went to a listen, Barrister. You went to an eighth grade school and I guess and not the in an urban area. Then you went to a suburban area. Um, in the urban area, the kids tend to be more athletic, and there's a lot more competition. And they're playing basketball, they're playing football, they're doing all types of stuff. Now, that's not to say that they don't have other ambitions, but like, you know what? I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to do this.
I
But you know,
didn't
right
hear that
now,
at
I want
all
to play
from them.
basketball.
I did not hear every single one of them. They wanted to be some form of professional
What
athlete
time of the
or
day
some
was it?
entertainer.
What time of
It
the
was
day
during
was it
the.
that you went to school?
It was the afternoon. What do you mean it was daytime? It
So
was
they
during the day.
fresh off of recess, and you asked them what they
What
wanted
do
to
you mean
be.
fresh out of recess? This is what they wanted. This is what they
Yeah, yeah,
wanted.
fresh out of recess. I just got through cooking my friend on the basketball court. Yeah, yeah, I want to be a hooper. I think I can do it.
Oh, you're making excuses.
No, I'm just
You're
giving you
trying to.
context to the whole
I'm not giving.
conversation.
It's a problem though. Even
Is
other.
it really?
Problem. If
We have more
It
doctors and lawyers
starts with
coming
it.
out of the
It's no, no, you don't. Only 5% of black people in America are doctors. I think probably only 10% of black people in America are lawyers. That's a huge problem. It's the reason why
10% of black people in America are lawyers.
black people, yeah, I think, or less than that. It's probably less than that. There
For
aren't that many
14% of the
black
population,
lawyers.
that's not bad, what'd you say?
Oh my.
All
But
right,
again,
appreciate it, Flex.
oh god.
my man, thank you, Kanye.
You gotta put some bass in your boys, Barrister.
but
Yeah,
what
but
it is, Barrister, you got little brother syndrome. You feel like the little brother when you stand next to foundational Black Americans because we're so globally prominent. So you think by reading these skewed crime stats that's supposed to take us down a peg so that you can get some shine, but you still ain't getting no shine. Let's roll with your narrative. Let's say, yeah, we got a bunch of criminals. You still come from a failed bushmeat baking third world society, sir. You can't shake that, and you'll never be, you know, the belle of the ball. You just
well, at least my parents, when they came to this country, they made something of themselves. My dad is a doctor, and my mom became a nurse. So
and my
they act,
didn't have to flee to make something of themselves. My parents didn't even have to flee to do that. They just gave birth to one of the most influential Black people on the planet, sir. And I hate to pat myself on the back, but do you know how
yeah, you're one of the few. You are the extreme minority, less than 1%. Most black people in America of foundational Black American lineage are not like you. They are failing. They're at the bottom. They're
no,
illiterate.
no,
They're uneducated. They're
no,
ghetto.
no, they actually are like me. That's why I'm so relatable. You have a lot of people who are just like me. We have the same values, we share the same views. That's why do you think every single night we have thousands of people in here every single night? Because there's a commonality there. There's something that's relatable there. We share the same ideology, we share the same lineage, so we share the same views for the most part.
So why don't you live in a black neighborhood? Why do you live with a bunch of white people?
Sir, it's not a white neighborhood. I'm here. I'm not
No, the vast majority of people who live in your neighborhood are white.
no.
Why don't you live in the ghetto? Why don't you live with other black people like
Why
um, other successful
why
doctors in the
would
past? They lived in.
why would I live in a ghetto? You're not supposed
You said you support foundational Black Americans, so
no, no, no. We're not synonymous with ghetto. I'm not supposed to live in the ghetto. That's you. You guys think that you live in slums and shanty towns. Everybody is supposed to live in slums and shanty towns. No, sir, that's not how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to live nice. You're supposed to live in places where there's running water and toilets, sir. We're not third worlders. Of course, I'm not going to live in something ratchet, especially with the income that I make, sir. That's what y'all want everybody to be third world immigrants like you, and it's not like that, sir. I live around a bunch of other black entertainers, athletes, doctors. I don't live in a white neighborhood. I'm not white. If it was a white neighborhood, I wouldn't be here, sir. You see? You tethers, y'all think anything that's hospitable is equal to white because in your homeland, you guys live on the other side of town in the shanty town shacks and shipping containers, and the white people live in luxurious mansions and homes in your own homeland. They got constant electricity. So anything nice becomes synonymous with white or it becomes synonymous with criminality. So if there's a black person living nice, well, damn it, they must have scammed. That's why y'all always project your scams on us.
No, no, I know you're successful, but I'm just stating that you know, and again, I think that's why I think you lied to a lot of your followers. You're being very disingenuous
Where?
because
How?
you keep them. They're very delusional.
About what?
You don't give. You're just not real with them. You don't state the fact.
About what? See, you're not going to play this everybody's dumb but you. All right? Because now you're insulting the audience here. These are not dumb people. They listen to me because I keep it 100.
No, you don't. You're lying to them.
About what?
They're so delusional.
About what? Where's the lie? What lie?
Like, for example, you're talking about New Orleans. You do realize that New Orleans, I think after Katrina, many of the residents, foundational Black Americans, were displaced. They went to cities like Houston, even Salt Lake City, Utah, and the crime rates increased like 100% in those cities from those displaced New Orleans residents, foundational Black
So
Americans.
many people.
Talk about that. There's a huge issue with violence.
So where's the okay? So why do so many people go to New Orleans every damn day?
Because of the culture there. I mean,
Wh-
there's this,
what's
it's a tourist place.
right? Right, the
The
culture, which is
food,
what culture, which is
huh?
foundational Black American culture. Yes, that's what
Okay,
they
but still, yeah, but they're only there temporarily.
don't matter. They're going there for the foundational Black American culture, sir. So there's a balance. Yeah, we got ratchetness, but we have a balance, sir. That's the great thing about foundational Black Americans. For every riffraff we have very hospitable, upstanding, respectable Black people.
I think
That that's why
though.
that's why this narrative of New Orleans, you're trying to paint New Orleans as some third world nation. It is not. Pockets of crime are in urban areas, and it's usually relegated to very small areas within the city. In New Orleans, it's a relatively safe place. I go there all the time. Love it. I absolutely love New Orleans. I meet strangers down there who treat me like family. That's why so many people love New Orleans. You're not about to sit here and paint New Orleans as some bullshit city like it's your homeland. People ain't fleeing New Orleans. If it's that bad, people would be on boats just like they do to flee from your homeland. New Orleans is a fly place. It's relatively safe. Yeah, you got crimes, pockets, and usually
Before Katrina, it was a.
oh, no, shut up. The crime in these urban areas, those are poverty based, and usually those are between two criminal crews. That's where the crime is. That's why crimes are regulated usually on a couple of city blocks in certain specific areas. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't represent the whole city. It's not a black thing. Most black folks ain't with crime. Criminality in certain urban areas, it's dudes out here doing street business and street deals go wrong. That's what happens. In the underworld, when people have an underworld economy, when there are conflicts, you unfortunately can't go to a court or go to the police and say, hey, somebody just stole my dope. Unfortunately, some gunplay happens, street shit happens. Those are street politics. That has nothing to do with the above ground society of blackness. And you're not going to paint it that way. Your homeland, on the other hand, is just violence just for the hell of it. It's just what it is, violence and scams. That's normalized, sir. So you're not going to point the finger at us, barrister.
Well, at least black people in Africa don't kill each other,
Yes, you
and at
do,
least we are healthy.
sir.
The obesity rates in
Sir. Every day there's videos of people getting burned up in villages, people getting drugged through the street and chopped up. If you don't stop, it's so much violence going over there. You know, it's the wars. Yeah, it's war, always war over there. You're not going
well,
to violence.
the data
Push.
and the stats don't reflect it, though.
Um,
The data and the stats reflect that the obesity rates are extremely high among foundational Black Americans,
listen,
and the crime rates are
listen.
extremely.
Y'all don't have enough food to get fat, so that's jealousy. You wish you can get obese. You don't have enough food. You can't get obese off that Red Cross rice. So that sounds like jealousy. Great Black Shark, hop on in here, sir.
Man, brother Tariq, I gotta ask Barrister here a couple of questions. First of all, Barrister, you said that your parents are Nigerian, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I would like to ask you, do your parents ever teach you to be proud of your own homeland's culture? Even though you were born here, I understand that.
Most definitely, they still speak their native language to each other.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions to ask you.
Go ahead.
You must not be aware that many foundational Black Americans have been to several African nations. I've been to over 25 myself. Now, when you have gangs over there like Boko Haram, the Black Axe gang in Nigeria, and also you may or may not be aware of this, but family, y'all can verify this. There was a young Nigerian lady, she was a Christian, named Deborah Samuel over there in Nigeria. Now, she was making comments in a WhatsApp space about like Islam, and it wasn't even disrespectful. Do you know that they killed that young lady? They stoned her to death and burned her alive.
Mm.
So now I have to ask you this. Even though you were born here, if your parents taught you to be proud, being that you're Nigerian American, don't you think it would be better served for you to be concerned about what's going on in your homeland, even if you're not over there? Why don't you all get together with those from your home nations and say, okay, we're over here. If we're doing so well, why don't we put together our brain power and resources and do something for our people back home? What's your answer to that?
Well, my parents actually continue to send money and assist with specific organizations back home. Well, back in Nigeria. It's not my fight, unfortunately. I wasn't born there.
Okay, well, hold on. Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. Even though you weren't born there, see, here's the thing. If a foundational Black American freedman man or woman does decide to visit abroad or move abroad, we still care about our people here. So now sending money, that's one thing. And by the way, you're sending money from our economy, which doesn't benefit us. And furthermore, I have to ask you this, okay? You said that it's not your problem. You don't care about it. Well, if you don't care about your own people, everything you're
I
saying
do,
to us is
I do care
important.
about my own people, though. Basically, black people in America
You
give
are
me a
not
bad
going to
reputation.
overtalk me. You are not going to overtalk me because you're a boy in my country eating off my plate. I am a combat veteran. I put my life on the line for
And
this country.
I respect your service.
Be quiet. If you respect me, shut up while I'm talking because you're going to learn something about manhood today. Understand this. If you are over here critiquing us in bad faith, then you have no right to speak. Understand that right now in Nigeria, all the things that's going on over there, the young people that, and salute to my good brother Kanye when he was up here, when he brought up the organization SARS, I respect the Nigerian young people that stood up and lost their lives in their homeland trying to make change. You weren't there, so you don't get that type of respect. You can never be respected nesting under another man's tree. And with that said, bro Tariq, I'll leave it there.
My brother, thank you so much. Oh, barrister. My goodness. All right, barrister. Any last words, barrister? Because,
Yeah, yeah. Final words. I just want you to talk more about the issues that are plaguing Black America. Talk about the crime rates. Talk about how to fix them. Bring about specific solutions on how to, correct those issues, and also the health issues as well. So many young Black people are dying heart disease because the obesity rates are so high. And I really also do think that there's a huge disconnect between Black men and Black women. I really do think that you should talk more about that as well.
Dude, good freaking grief. You got people in your village dying from hunger and Ebola and West Nile virus, and the paternity fraud rates in your country tops the charts, sir. Please don't tell us about man-woman relationships. Y'all be having scam relationships, scam marriages, scam baby mamas. Man, you're not at liberty to tell
At
us
least
what,
my parents were married for 40 plus years,
and
Tariq.
that
And I knew, and at least I
was
know my father.
because they needed to anchor a baby here. That was a scam.
All
They
right. Nice
they
talking to you. I'm out. Bye.
no, don't run now. They anchored your musty ass over here. That was a scam too, sir. This is what I'm saying. It's all scam, scam, scam. Lord, yeah, they got married and came over here and made sure you got some of that 14th Amendment game and anchored you over here with us with your damn vitriol and hatred and jealousy. Now we got to deal with your must. I'm about to send you some root work. Text me your address, nigga. All right. Get out of here. At least my parents were together. Yeah, they anchored your musty ass over here. Everything is a damn finesse. And you're welcome. Yeah, these people come benefit from movements that we've initiated. That whole 14th Amendment, that was us.